world of GT racing returns to South Australia and the band Motorsport Park for round 2 of GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. After a compelling season opener at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit, the boys are back in town, and the girls as well, for a highly competitive second round of the championship. That was Thomas Randall getting ready behind the Castrol Team BRM car that he will share with Mark Rosser as we get set for the first of 2 15-minute qualifying sessions. Richard Craill and Nick Percat with you for round 2 of the championship. Round 1, Nick, had plenty of fireworks at the island, and I suspect we might be in for some more this weekend.
Absolutely we will be. And the fascinating part was, it was actually what we call them the AM drivers, the drivers who own the cars and do a very good job behind the wheel. They're the ones who set up with the fireworks at Phillip Island in that last race. So I'm looking forward to see what happens here.
Yeah, the pros did a very professional job, and the AMs teed off in the World Championship as the cars get ready to roll out. So 2-part qualifying. The pros in the Pro-Am combos will be behind the wheel first, and then the AM drivers will take part in qualifying 2. They set the grid for the 2 races over the weekend, and the AM driver starts and finishes the weekend. The pros do the heavy lifting at the back end of race 1 and at the start of race number 2. As a reminder as to where we are, given it's owned by the Sheehan family, who've got a great track record in GT racing around the world, this is about the proper GT track you could create, isn't it? A mixture of high-speed corners. They can use the aero, the slick tyre, the braking performance. All the best attributes of a GT3 car are in those 4.96Ks.
100%. If you're ever going to get the call up to drive a GT3 car, this is the place to do it. Big braking zones, the triple right-hander, which is fully loaded up, and like you touched on earlier, a few of the boys were saying their necks were a little bit sore last night, but then, turn 13, uphill, right-hander, the car loads up massively. But the key to being fast around here, we actually need to ask Thomas Randall. He's actually a little bit of a tail and bend specialist, I've noticed over the years, in supercars, GT3, S5000s, all sorts. He goes very well at this place.
And was quickest yesterday with Mark Rosser in that Castrol Team BRM car, 1 minute 45.5, which was a very competitive lap time in a day of mixed weather conditions and showers sweeping across the circuit all day. Oscar Target and Shane Smollen, solid start for those guys at the opening round of the championship. They were second in the Tigani Mercedes AMG. Their teammate Jaden Ojeda and Paul Lucitti, who had a win here last year and a win at Phillip Island, were next as we confirmed the starting lineup. 16 cars this weekend. We welcome the returning Garnett Patterson and his co-driver on debut in the form of JP Drake, driving the 666. And the sponsor is, and I'm not joking, why so serious, Team BRM Audi R8. So BRM expand to 3 cars now, which is fantastic and massively competitive. Tony D'Alberto back with Adrian Dietz in the Lamborghini Huracan. That Porsche is back after a really strong start to their season with Luke Youlton behind the wheel at Phillip Island. So competitive field. The Pro-Am pack is stacked though, and there are some hugely credentialed drivers from all parts of GT racing, supercars, full-timers and more on this grid, and this is going to be an absolutely flat-out session. So yesterday, Randall, Target, Ojeda, the top 3 as the pros. Brock Feeney and Brad Schumacher were next, but they didn't get many laps yesterday. A rare mechanical for the defending champion number 1 MPC Audi, and they had to swap an engine, so they missed a couple of practice sessions. Yeah,
that is actually a big story. Obviously, any track time around a place like this is crucial for the drivers, so they sat out practice 1 with a mechanical issue with the engine on their Audi, and then they did get out during practice 2 and put the car right up the front, so they'll be confident. But I'm actually going to throw it back to you. Who do you think is going to put this one on pole? I like it. You did this to me earlier.
I did, and it's nice to get a taste of my own medicine. Well, before I answer that, I'll go back 12 months or to the most recent round, because Jaden Ojeda was on pole, and he's always a favourite on a 1-lap shootout. The second quali session for the AM drivers was the really interesting one, because it was Liam Talbot who got pole position in the Volante Rosso Aston Martin. Did a 47.0, edged out Brad Schumacher by 0.04 of a second. Mark Rosser was third in the Audi. But you want an answer.
Yes.
I'm going to give you an answer. It's hard to deliver past Brock Feeney and car number 1. And it would be an amazing story to bounce back from a really challenging day yesterday to grab a pole position, the Rover Pole Award in GT World Challenge Australia. So I'll probably be wrong, but there's my bet. I wonder who Greg Rusk reckons might be on pole at the end of this session.
Don't ask me that, you boys. I'm down here at Zagami's, and Josh Buchan was released a little later than everyone else. Cam Campbell, is that a strategic thing? You want to give a bit of clear track? Just tell us about that.
Yeah, definitely some clear track. They're all out there pushing it. They can find the curbs, I think, and see what it feels like for him, but more so for me, I'm going to use his tyres as he comes in, so they'll be a bit hotter, and then see how I go.
Quickly, you guys have been busy on both sides of the equator. Have you enjoyed things in the UK so far?
It's been fabulous, mate. So we're out there next week again, so I can't wait for that either.
The park's going to be good. Go well. Thank you.
Yeah, the event that Rusty's referring to was the 500k Silverstone GT World Challenge Enduro, which they had a really good run. I spoke to Josh about that yesterday. The race was run by Garnett Patterson and Yasser Shikin, who did an outstanding job in a McLaren. And Josh, in the true case of could have, would have, should have in motorsport, he told me yesterday that they were on the same strategy as the winning car and would have finished second or third, but a safety car fell a little bit out of order, and as a result, he and Cam did not get a result.
But biggest motorsport race car driver line you ever get.
We were going to win it, but it just didn't quite fall right.
Supercar races too.
Yeah, correct.
I'm sure they were definitely in the hunt. They can definitely.
They were. It's a great combo, and Zagami have done a nice job getting up to speed in that Ferrari 296 GT3, and Cameron Campbell as well, who's come out of the Ferrari Challenge that we've just seen on track here at the Bend and have stepped into the big league. Speaking of big leagues, there's no one bigger than the champ and the person he's talking to, Chris Stubbs.
Richard, thank you very much. The real champ, Brad Schumacher. Yesterday we're just chatting about the issues that you faced. Can you detail what happened? And that engine is no longer in existence, I assume.
Yeah, unfortunately 4 laps into practice 1 yesterday, we had an engine end its life with the failure of a valve spring. So the guys at MPC did an amazing job. We had a spare engine, so did a quick engine transplant. Missed out obviously on practice 1, practice 2, but had the car back to practice 3, and stroke of luck, the platform felt pretty good, so there wasn't much to change overnight. I feel like we've got a pretty strong car.
So that's a tip of the hat then to the team and everyone that was involved in that's a pretty major operation.
Well, I mean, there's a reason I keep racing with Melbourne Performance Centre Audi Sport. It's because they're the best team up and down pit lane in GT3 racing. The most experienced, the most championships under their belt. Racy, our head mechanic, and the crew behind him are amazing mechanics, and it was a phenomenal job yesterday to turn the car around for us.
And the pace in the car then for the rest of the weekend, what are your expectations here at this track and how it's suited to a pretty technical circuit?
Sorry, you might have to repeat that. I couldn't hear you for the car.
Well, just in general, how the Audi is specifically suited to this circuit. How does it go?
Well, we've had pretty good results in the past years here with the Audi. Look, the Audi's a pretty strong platform. Doesn't really matter what circuit we go to. It's a pretty proven car. Even though it's the oldest GT3 car in the field, it's still an extremely strong car. So it's a good car here for sure. I think Mercedes have probably got a little something up their sleeve, and we might see that all unfold very soon in this qualifying session.
There you go. Have some breaking news to keep an eye on. Brock Feeney's in pretty good form, isn't he? It's going all right.
Mate, I'm driving with the best race car driver in Australia currently. How could I? What else do you say?
Well done, mate. Thanks.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
It's very difficult to argue with that based on recency bias, but yeah, it's a good chat with the Bathurstian, Brad Schumacher, and that combo currently lead the championship by 2 points after a strong weekend. They crossed the line third in race 2. It's a post-race penalty. There are a couple of post-race penalties at Phillip Island. Race 2 was a wild one and they ended up ninth, but they've still got a 2-point championship lead over Jackson Evans and Elliott Shute, who had a really consistent weekend at Phillip Island in the ARGT Ferrari. Jackson Evans is behind the wheel of that car. Quiet day for the Ferraris yesterday, though, it must be said. You pointed out, though, that Renee Gracie was outstanding from an AM driver point of view, though.
100%. She actually led the way for them in the final practice session for the Ferrari crew, as Lukey Yilden uses every bit of road, and he's phasing his tyre much faster than everyone, 4 seconds up the road. But yeah, Renee did a great job, and she's working really, really hard with the crew at Arise and understanding how to drive this Ferrari, and probably for her getting back in the routine of driving a race car more full-time than she has over the last 4 or 5 years. So I actually sat in at the data mahal over her engineer's shoulder, and I was watching her inputs, her throttle, brake, speed trace, and how she was going about it, and how she was responding to the message she was getting over the radio. So I'm excited to see how they go this weekend. So it's a big step up in form from Phillip Island, and good co-driver with William Davison. He's as he sets himself up for a good lap here. So yeah, I think they're due a good result. I feel like they had a hard run at Phillip Island.
Yeah, it was rough. It was rough. Turn 1 in particular on a couple of occasions, so they'll be looking to bounce back. And Will's the same. I had a chat to him earlier in the weekend, and he's still getting himself comfortable in these cars as well, getting up to speed in GT3 machinery. Garnett Patterson has gone quickest at a 1:45.666, ironically, the number of the car, and he's matched that up with the 10th, 100th and 1000th of a second number as well. So Patterson on top in the Audi, in front of Brock Feeney, Luke Youlden third in that older spec GT3R Porsche, Valentino Astudi in fourth position, Josh Hunt in the McLaren is fifth, but Brendan Leach is next. Now, Brad Schumacher tipped his hat to the Mercs and said, I think they've got something up their sleeve. And we caught up with Brendan this morning in the coffee line in the GT Lounge, and he was like, man, the car was really good yesterday. We're really comfortable. And he said, I'm looking forward to turning up the wick in qualifying. And right now, he's doing that.
How good to know him. You know, even in an interview earlier today, he let out the bag that they might not have run the best tyre yesterday, and he could hear him trying to take that information back as he said it.
Bang.
As he goes to the top with a massive lap. And him and Brock have been trading sectors on this lap, so we'll see where Brock lands.
45.39 for Brendan Leach. 2.5 tenths in front of Garnett Patterson. Jaden Ojeda goes 7th. Ryan Wood goes 4th. Feeney does a 45.1 and gets just over a 10th behind Brendan Leach. So Mercedes, then 3 Audis. Patterson in 3rd place going well, and Ryan Wood in 4th place in the car he shares with Steve Brooks. Josh Buchan up to 5th. 1:46.39. And going on with it too with an improved lap in the Zagami car. That's the purple and black liveried Ferrari 296 as Thomas Randall pops into the top 4. He called in the bend specialist early. He's living up to that too.
I like what he's done there. He's phased the tyre a bit slower than everyone. That's his first real push lap. He's got plenty of clear track. So I'll be looking for Randall in these last 4 minutes.
So Randall 4th position in front of Wood. So it's a Merc, then 4 Audis all lined up. And then a Ferrari and Luke Youlden 7th position in the older spec trophy class Porsche. And he's in a trophy class battle with Paul Stokel in the Audi and Alex Gardner in that Aston Martin, driven here last year by Liam Talbot, and had a terrific result that weekend when Liam was back in the category, the multiple champion. I'm sure Liam's watching from home up in Brisbane, cheering on. Jaden Ojeda's gone purple in the middle sector in the Realtor number 66 car from Tigani Motorsport.
Isn't it amazing how different cars phase the tyre in differently? You know, we've got a Mercedes leading the way at the moment, but Jaden Ojeda is arguably one of the best GT3 drivers in Mercedes in the world. His car's taken 2 laps longer. We've got Randall's taking a bit longer. It's maybe something to keep in mind in today's race, that we're going to see some cars skip up the road a bit, and then you might just see some, back to the top, but you might just see some different cars coming later in the stints. Ojeda does a really good lap there.
1:45.37 Ojeda. He's 2/100ths of a second quicker than Brendan Leach's teammate. So Mercedes 1 and 2. Oscar Target, the third of the Tigani cars, has just gone 5th, the young Queenslander. 1:45.9 within 0.5. Top 7 cars covered by just 0.6 of a second. That is likely to compress further. Randall improves. 1:45.7. Pops back up to 5th place.
Ryan Wood's having a quieter session for a Woody standard. You'd feel like he's winding up. And one thing I'd say for the supercar drivers, they've just gone back-to-back races in New Zealand. They have to unwind the supercar traits. They rock up at Tail and Bend and go, I get to this triple right and have to keep it pinned the whole way down. So it probably does take a few laps for him to wind up in quali mode, and we'll see. I could be wrong, but
they must get to turn 5 and go, oh, downforce. That's what it's like.
Literally, but the 2 GT3 specialists are showing the way at the moment.
So Ojeda on top. And if you're, for example, Jackson Evans or Brendan Leach, who raced last weekend at Mandalika in Indonesia, really cool, fast-flowing circuit, so they will be properly switched on as well. Most recent round of GT World Challenge Asia, and Jackson Evans came away driving an Audi with a couple of trophies last weekend, which was a great result for him and his team up there in World Challenge Asia. Back in the Ferrari this weekend and only 10th at the moment. And it's been a really quiet build-up for ARGT this weekend. Will Davison yet to set a representative lap time too. He's still last and 16th of the runners. We're following Ryan Wood. The young Kiwi had his heart broken at Ruapuna, but man, he was good over that 2-week stretch. And he is spectacular to watch in a GT3 car. Brock Feeney third. Oscar Target remains sixth. Oh, off the back was Valentino Astudi running wide, and even wider, off goes Alex Gardner, former Radical Cup champion. Big tank slapper down at the right-hander that brings them up the back straight. He gathered it up, but it's going to take a lap or two to clean those tyres, and he might not have time.
Will Davison's, he's bringing the tyre in very slowly, and he's giving himself a kind of lap and a half to get the job done here. I'll be a little bit nervous.
He's about 1.1 seconds behind the pole time, but he's on to get close to Josh Buchan, who's the lead Ferrari in 8th at the moment. As we watch the ARGT number 26 car, Jackson Evans is behind the wheel of this. Davison goes 12th at a 46.9. So next lap, you'd imagine, will be the last one, but it's going to be the one that has to count for him.
Evans is traffic on the final lap, which he definitely did not need.
Meanwhile, Josh Hunt has jumped out of the McLaren, and they're already going to do a driver change. Get Jeff Emery in that car for the back half of qualifying, or part 2 of qualifying for GT World Challenge. Checkered flag is out. It looks like it's going to be Jaden Ojeda. No one else has challenged the number 66 Mercedes. Brendan Leach said they thought they had a little bit in the bank. Well, that has proved to be true, because right now they're 1 and 2. There are the 2 cars locked on the front row of the grid. No improvement so far for either driver. The only one on to improve his position at the moment is Oscar Target, and both of those cars peel off into pit lane.
You make it a 1-2-3 for the...
Oh, the sector times meaning...
I boxed.
Yeah, I boxed. That's disappointing, because
Target.
He was up to gain maybe a 10th and a half, but might have put him in front of Thomas Randall.
I like that a few teams have opted to maybe box that lap early once they realise the tyre was done. Get the second driver in, the AM driver in, and just get them comfortable. You know, the first session of the day is the hardest one to, you know, get your head back into gear. You don't get a real warm-up lap into it. It's straight in, so I like that strategy.
So 2 qualifying sessions this year for the man they call the Juice, and it's 2 Rover Pole Awards for Jaden Ojeda. He edges out Brendan Leach by 0.02 of a second. Brock Feeney was 3rd. Not a bad prediction. Garnett Patterson was 4th. So what a debut for those guys. So JP Drake alongside him about to qualify. Randall, Target and Wood next. And Josh Buchan in 8th position. Highlights thanks to Maguire's qualifying 1 for GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. Just didn't quite crescendo this session, did it? They did their lap time on their 5th lap, and then there were a couple of laps to go that they didn't improve. So the tyre clearly reached a peak, and they weren't able to improve after that.
It's surprising, because normally the GT3 qualifying, it's, you know, whoever's last on track gets the pole position, but everyone obviously got their cars very dialed yesterday. It's a big moment for Astudi.
Hey, shout out to Luke Gilden. So trophy class pole, 9th outright, but only exactly 1 second away from Jaden Ojeda in a full tilt current spec Mercedes AMG. That's why he's Porsche's chief driving instructor in this part of the world. That's a massive lap from Lukey. Likes this place too. This was the lap from Jaden Ojeda that did the job. 1 minute 45.37. Second pole position of the year for the Juice. And Sagani continue to punch on with their Mercedes AMG program. So Jaden Ojeda, that's his 7th career pole in GT World Challenge Australia. He is very good on 1 lap. And that's the brief now with Paul Lucitti, so just wording his co-driver up. So while they get ready and turn the cars around for qualifying 2, the AM drivers will jump behind the wheel. Let's take a closer look at the Bend Motorsport Park.
Hey guys, Valentino Studi here, racing the number 2 Audi for NPC Motorsport. I'm part of the SRO GT Academy, so great opportunity from Track Racer to use their sim in the Shannons SpeedSeries and practice for our round here at the Bend. So come with me for a lap around Tailem Bend on the sim and on track. Coming down the straight, we end up in 6th gear, about 267, 270 Ks. We're aiming for the 100-metre board, braking as late as we can, 2nd gear on the apex, try to crack the throttle, get 3rd, then we're over the apex. We want to get a good entry out of turn 3 here, so back down to 2nd, really prep the exit, and all the way down through turn 4 and 5. We plug gears, hold it flat through turn 5 here, and headed towards turn 6, late braking near the 50 board. Down to 2nd, really trail the brakes and get a good exit here as this lines you up for the triple right, probably the most fun part of Tailem Bend. We like to try and keep it as much throttle through here, keep your aero platform as stable as possible. You want to get a nice exit out of here to get a good lineup for turn 11 and turn 12. This will give you a good run down to turn 13, which is a blind cresting right-hander. Really fun corner. I quite enjoy it. Good exit here, heading towards turn 14. Down to 2nd gear. Good exit. Plug 3rd. Nice little short shift. Get into the apex and a smooth throttle transition out. Get to 4th, sometimes depending on the wind we can get 5th, but we stretch the rev limiter in 4th, braking close to 50. 2nd gear corner. Coming out to the last corner, a little bit of left foot brake, get the car in, and a really good exit onto the front straight. And that's a lap of Tailem Bend.
Nicely done. Bit concerned Valentino had the driver's line and braking aids on there on the sim, but nice work in the simulator. So that's a lap of the Bend. Someone who did a very, very good lap of the Bend in qualifying 1 for GT World Challenge was Luke Youlden, and he's standing by with Chris Stubbs.
Thank you, Richard. Indeed, the Bathurst champion really lighting it up out there in the trophy car. Congratulations. Fastest in the class. How was it?
Thank you. Yeah, it was awesome. It's so good being back in the car, especially a GT car around a place that's more of a GT circuit as well. So really, smashing the rust off it. I've got to work pretty hard as there's steam coming off my head. So yeah, that's like the team's doing an awesome job. I've got a new engineer out from Japan who knows these things pretty well, along with Matt Harvey and the boys, and they're doing a great job. So lucky to be here. You've
been a busy man. We'll chat to you a little bit later about what you're doing with some of the juniors in Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge. But Nathan in the car now, what's the message to him?
Yeah, so he's pretty inexperienced, Nathan. I think this will be the first qualifying session in this car in the dry. So every time it's been wet, so he's just learning as he goes. So let's just get confidence in the fast stuff. There's so many fast corners here. If we can just get him another 5 or 10k an hour quicker through that fast stuff, we'll be sweet.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Rusty?
Cheers.
To the OnlyFans garage, Will Davison's just jumped out of the car. I'm wondering, was there a bit of traffic toward the end there that impacted things for you? What did that P12 in the end there?
Yeah, it's not an ideal run. We had some unfortunately some cracked rotors yesterday, so we're spending qualifying betting brakes. So I got out for a couple of laps at the end. Got one down, tyres were still coming up. Was on an improved lap then, and just I thought I had half the track to myself, and somehow an Audi found me and started a lap right in front of me, so I didn't really get to get that last lap in.
You and I were chatting very briefly last night. You felt, despite all of that yesterday, that there was some positivity in this car and the learnings from it out of Friday, wasn't there?
Yeah, first proper day really in the car yesterday, so felt like made some great inroads yesterday. Car felt good. We've certainly still got some time to find. This form of racing and the BOP is always a head scratcher for everyone at times. So, but car felt good. We're certainly searching for some lap time. Didn't get the most out of the 181 car then, just due to unfortunate circumstances. So, left probably half a second on the table there just with that traffic at the end, but that's about all we have at the moment.
Just quickly, what were the words to Renee Gracie? She's strapped in, ready to go now.
No, just buckled her in. At the moment, Renee's taking huge steps forward yesterday. So we do our work out of the car. Don't like to say too much. Just get in, see what you feel, keep building on what we're working on. So I didn't really tell her anything. Just go, send it.
Thank you for chatting to us, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Stubbsy.
Or two of our supercar stars just sitting on some tyres, chewing the fat here at the Bend. Ryan Wood, your session, how was it first?
Yeah, not great. Struggled a bit, but yeah, it's all good. Brooksy will go out and have a crack now. So yeah, just chasing our tail a little on our side, but it's all good. We'll try and go forward in this quali.
Mate, New Zealand on a supercars front, you tasted the full mixed bag of what motorsport can throw at you. How do you look back at the couple of rounds over there?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was great fun, and obviously to have some success over there was really special. So always love going back home and racing, and can't wait to do it again next year. So got to wait another 12 months, which I'm a bit gutted about. But to have 2 races over there this year was really cool. So hopefully they continue that trend.
Made some great pace, and we look forward to continuing that here this weekend.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Beside him is a man who's going to join us in commentary a little bit later today, Thomas Randall in a Mustang Cup. But first things first, mate, talk to us about that session out there in World Challenge.
Yeah, it was tight. Similar to Woody, I think what we had in the car yesterday in the afternoon didn't quite work for us this morning on the cold track. But that's okay. We've got 2 long races, and we've got Mark Rosser in the car now, and he was doing a great job yesterday. So fingers crossed he can have a good quali, and the quali for this will set the grid for today's race. So yeah, fingers crossed he can have a good run, and the Castrol Audi can get up the front today, and then hopefully tomorrow.
You've recovered okay from the 30th birthday party celebrations last week?
The headache's gone. So I think we're okay. Cheers.
Good stuff, mate. We'll catch you later.
Thanks, mate. Where were you?
Chris Stubbs with Thomas Randall and Ryan Wood there. And Tommy will join us for commentary a little bit later on. Woody's welcome in the commentary box at any time too, by the way. We don't discriminate among race car drivers coming up here and joining the fun. So we get set for the AM drivers. And what Thomas pointed out was accurate, that this qualifying session actually sets the grid for this afternoon's 1-hour GT World Challenge race, which will be started by the AM. The pros jump in halfway through, blaze to the finish, then they start tomorrow, and then the AM drivers bring it home. But it means there's often a little mixed up grid to start race 1. So the pressure is on. 15 minutes on the clock starts now, and the cars are released from pit lane. We've already seen, Nick, a little discussion there from Cam Campbell about the fact that they wanted to keep the warm tyres on out of Josh Buchan's run. So just to give the AM drivers, especially the least experienced guys, the biggest possible advantage they can get, or the biggest leg up they can get ahead of this session.
The most important part is making sure your AM driver is comfortable in the car. So I like that you guys got the drivers in early, got them settled, had a little bit of discussion about what the track is or the balance of the car. But like Will Davo said, you don't want to overload them with information. You're half the time better off letting them go out and experience it for themselves. But a warm tyre at TaylorMade is it's a big advantage for the first probably half the session, and it eliminates having to phase the tyre in, the risk of a little off-track moment on the green tyre. So I like it, but obviously there's some very experienced GT3 drivers in this AM field who they can put a lap down that's very close to what the pro does. So but I like the way that a few of them have gone about it.
Just on 15 degrees, smidge over at the moment. The patchy sun every now and then. It's pop behind the cloud for these qualifying sessions, but when you're in the sun, it's actually quite warm. It's very humid, though. Even though it's quite cool, 92% humidity at the moment outside, so reasonably muggy conditions, even if it is quite cool. So that changes the way the cars perform with the BOP and the way they take in the air, and the barometer is part of the BOP settings that they use globally in GT3 racing to equalise the performance. Man, it's pretty impressive how they get this entire field of cars with different configurations, different form of aspiration. There's turbocharged cars, normally aspirated cars, mid-engine, front engine, the whole lot. They all end up within half a tank. It's hugely impressive.
I thought you were going to say it's impressive that we somehow get 4 cars in the same corner.
Well, in qualifying, yes, that too. So the 2 BRM Audis and the 2 Tigani Mercs are locked together at the moment. Shane Smolin is in the dark blue and silver car out in front, now lives up on the Gold Coast, but formerly from Sydney. Behind him is the man from Christchurch, the Wolfbrook racer, is Steve Brooks. Caught up with Brooksy over in New Zealand. He was out at the local Kart Club in Canterbury Go-Kart Club, where he runs. His kids have got go-karts, which is concerning for him because it's a long, slippery slope, but he sponsors the club and is heavily involved there as well. And Wolfbrook have got a scholarship program for young drivers in New Zealand GR86s too. So Steve's heavily involved in Kiwi Motorsport, loving the challenge of running in World Challenge Australia, and now gets himself some clear racetrack. Behind him is Mark Rosser, hometown hero. And Mark is part of the reason that we've got JP Drake in the field for the first time, because JP drove Mark's car here in a little sneaky test earlier this year, and that was the carrot dangling at the end of the stick, and he drove it and thought, oh, I like this. So they've sourced another car, and hey presto, BRM, 3 cars. JP Drake and Garnett Patterson get to have a play this weekend.
Mike Rundle would have loved that little test day.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Mark is pretty astute. He knows how to do it. For those unaware, Nick, my co-pilot up here, raced with Team BRM in Porsche Carrera Cup and a couple of other categories as well over the journey, and narrowly missed out on the Cup Car Championship with that team. Great operation. They're based just outside the Adelaide CBD these days on a high-performance business as well. So they're the local squad. They do a lot of laps here at the Bend as well. So they're hopeful of a big result this weekend. They left Phillip Island pleased with their pace, frustrated with the end result of race number 2 with that big impact down at turn 4 with Mark Rosser at the end of that quite dramatic second race at the island, looking to bounce back this weekend.
And this should be a track for Mark to go very well at. You know, I know he's done laps here in a GT3 car for many, many years, because when I did the 12-hour with him, this is where we tested. So he should know the place. He knows the car very well. BRM present a very good racing car, so I'd be looking for him to be, you know, quite up there in the favourites in this session.
I'll point out the JP Drake car as well, though it doesn't need much in the way of car spotting, with JP's traditional, quite extroverted livery on the Audi. There's some fluoro green involved and a Batman logo, and there it is.
Oh, yes.
On cue. So the 666, and I said earlier, the sponsor on the side is Why So Serious, and that is absolutely the way that JP goes racing. He is a great character. He is a very, very handy race car driver. Let's not let the fun get in the way of that he is very capable. A lot of time in the Australian prototype series. So cars with a slick tyre, cars with a lot of downforce, cars with a lot of mid-corner, with a lot of braking performance. He's experienced in this style of racing cars. So the process to adapt to the Audi might be quicker than others who don't have that background.
And he's just confusing his competitors. I'm not serious.
Yeah,
he's serious.
He is really
very
serious. He's a great character. BRM have got Stephen Giles, the hugely experienced engineer and team owner from New Zealand, runs Giles Motorsport in Formula Regional Oceania over summer. He's come over to run this car for the team for this weekend, which is a cool
He hasn't engineered any cars to wins ever.
No.
He's an amazing engineer.
What he's forgotten about engineering, most people don't learn in their life. Here's Brad Schumacher. Speaking of engineering their way to the front, MPC know how to do that, and Brad's on a very good lap at the moment. Purple in the first and second sectors on his first proper push lap of the session. So it should be more than good enough to put car number 1 to position number 1, and it is at 1 minute 48.3. They'll go quicker than that, but that's a pretty good benchmark for Brad.
What I like with how Brad's going about his racing, obviously he gets Brock Feeney on board. Amazing to have Brock as your man and your driver, but what Brock brings is actually Marty Short, his engineer from 888 Race Engineering. So what he's done there is not only just got the gun for hire with Brock Feeney, he's brought the engineer along who knows how to get the most out of Brock Feeney and knows how to engineer a car. So I really like the way he's gone about it. It's not just grab the driver, he's actually grabbed the package that has been dominant in supercars for the last few years. So imagine having that on your side.
Yeah.
Like, let alone Brock, you got Marty there.
Yeah, pretty cool, isn't it? In fact, there's a couple of examples of that in this field as well. Mark Ross is on a pretty good lap too. He went purple in the first sector, beaten by Schumacher. So they're punching on at the moment. Ross only 8th at a 51.3 on his first flying lap. This is Elliot Shute, the West Australian, who's currently 2nd. Ross is pressing on in the middle sector. You can see the highlight on the totem left of screen. The purple means quickest of anybody in the session so far. So the Castrol Team BRM car is pushing on. Decent lap for Elliot Shute, good first sector. in the ARGT Ferrari Lance East Exotics on the side of this car. A team that's already had a lot of success. And you speak about Guru Engineers joining the fray. Well, Adam DeBore has been part of the Arise squad for a long time now and has been pretty integral to their success alongside BD Suter Dawson and their team that Jordan Oon set up. Rosser goes to the top, first into the 47s now with a 47.80 and pulls 5 tenths on Brad Schumacher. But Schumacher is about to respond.
Looked like he was a little bit wide off the last corner.
I feel like he was a lot wide out of the last corner. Schumacher goes second, and that might have cost him because his final sector, he gave away 2 tenths, but he's missed out on provisional pole by 0.02. So very close between the two Audis, one from BRM, one from MPC.
And the Mercedes, they're keeping it quiet at the moment. But I'm watching, and they've gone from 11th and 12th, and suddenly we're in the top 6, and they're just building with Luchetti and Smolin.
And with the Merc, you cue the Jaws music. That massive grille and the big V8, the thunder, as they loom up behind the field and creep up on them. Every single car in the top 10 at the moment has got a personal best sector somewhere. So they're all pushing on. 6 minutes to go in qualifying number 2 with the AM drivers doing a great job. 47.8 to beat. And Brad Schumacher's going after Mark Rosser. He's got to do the business. That final sector cost him last time around.
And what it's actually done, it's hurt his second or his next push lap. So he hurt the last sector in his finishing lap, and then just to start the lap, he's been 3 tenths off by the time he gets to turn 1. So he'll just be reloading, getting ready to come up that last corner as good as he can. But lucky for him, he's still got 5 odd minutes to go. So as he goes purple in the middle sector, he's definitely reloading.
He's recovered. He gave away a bit in the first split, though, so he gave away about half a second. That might be costly as MPC watch on.
Massive. Looks a bit stressed by him there.
Yeah, he does. Massive battle in the Audi camp now.
What's this haircut he's got going on?
The B-Fiend? Yeah. No, I'm not worried about the hair. The beard I rate, though. That is outstanding. As Sergio Perez goes to the top.
Big lap.
First and second sectors were good, but they weren't outrageous. The final sector was, though. And the guy of Almont, number 44, Mercedes, goes quickest. 1 minute 47.2 and puts 3 tenths of a second on the champ. Big lap, Sergio Perez.
And we're on the flashes. And we've actually got a little bit of a toe to finish that lap and start this lap. So if he can get through without traffic, he will improve again.
Man, he's channeling his inner Brendan Leach, isn't he? On the flashes, goes to the top.
Get out my way.
Brendan's been very complimentary about the process and the improvement from this young guy from Sydney, the Guy Valmont team. I'm sure Marcel Zalua is watching on, his buddy who has raced with him for a very long time. On the sidelines this weekend, but watching Serge on. So Perez on top. Schumacher's gone purple in the first sector, but just before that, Rosser had done so as well. So this is still very much a shootout, and Rosser's on a good lap.
He absolutely is, and I feel like the AMs are turning it on for us here. I don't actually know where to look, and like I said before, Schumacher left 3 tenths in the first sector, and he's going on with it, but how do you call it? Rosser's there. If he can finish this lap well.
Schumacher's middle sector wasn't purple, but overall he's still up on Perez. He's still got to find 3 tenths of a second. Rosser gave away a couple of tenths in the middle sector, so cost him time, which is all the commitment stuff here. So if you get traffic or have a little error, it's very costly. Steve Brooks just behind him, remains in 9th position at the moment, so he's got some time to find as well. Paul Luchetti across the line in 6th. Shane Smolin goes 4th, good lap.
Close for Schumacher.
Oh, Schumacher, 47.30, misses out by 0.01 of a second. So there's just 100th between the Mercedes AMG and the Audi at the moment with 3 minutes to go.
I feel like this is where they get to this lap time and the radio message will be calm it down, because it's GT3 car. You get very, very excited and you don't want to overdrive it. And just prepare yourself to tighten the belts for that final lap, final run at it. They're all actually finding themselves in a little bit of traffic, so the engineers and the driver coaches will be on the radio saying, hey, we've got 2.5 minutes here, let's just find ourselves the right gap and finish this last lap.
Brad Schumacher has 5 GT World Challenge Australia career poles to his credit. Sergio Perez yet to score one. So this could be a big moment for the Tigani driver, that Gaia Valmont Mercedes AMG, and they're running nose to tail with Schumacher in front. So Perez has got someone to chase. Now they're going to get around in time to have another crack at this if they want to.
What Brad needs to be careful of here, I know they're a little bit off because he's rolled off, but he could actually slipstream or drag around this competitor to pole. So I'm sure Marty will be like, hey mate, just maybe swap positions with the car behind you.
A couple of improvements a little bit further back. Look, in 8th position, you'll find Darren Curry. He's sharing that Audi with Valentino Astudi. He did a nice job in Quali 1. Darren's on a personal best lap. He's currently in 8th position outright. Runs a construction business up in Queensland and a couple of big gigs on the go at the moment. I saw on his socials he's re-roofing a massive sort of entertainment complex at the moment. Is Darren, such as the varied business life of the AM drivers in GT racing.
Renee Gracie's doing a really good job.
Perez pits, he's done. Q in the rack with 1:20 to go.
It's brave, I feel, but it's a very good lap. They've got margin over P3 with Mark Rosser, but like I was saying, Renee Gracie's doing a great job there inside the top 10, P8.
So just lost a spot to Curry, who we were just talking about, who pops up to 7th at a 48.7.
I'm just glued to this Brad's first sector to see what's he got left.
Here's Steve Brooks. He's in 9th position at the moment. Elliott Shute in 5th, has just set personal best final sector. 46 seconds to go. Still a little bit of time for people to start a lap if they need it. What's Mark Rosser got? They've all basically gone toe for toe in that first sector. Schumacher 2 tenths down on the best first split of all. Rosser with a personal best middle, so he's on for some improvement here. He's 0.5 away from pole, and given how close it is between 1 to 2, he's about the same margin away from getting on the front row. He'd love to start this car there this afternoon. Kisses the rev limiter in the braking zone, down the hill. Awkward, tight right-hander. And then a properly fast commitment corner to get back onto this long start-finish straight. Here at the bend, the checkered flag's out, but he's done. The team have called him in. Schumacher's not going to improve either. His middle split, he's dropped about 6 tenths. So the checkered flag flies, and it could be a double Mercedes AMG pole position here. And Sergio Perez could be on the cusp of getting his first Rover Pole Award. Schumacher peels off. I think it's done.
It's interesting. Normally, we see the GT3 car be that build and build and build, but it looks like there is maybe a little bit of tire deg here, which is great for us up here for the race. Yeah. We got some exciting racing coming, but he's done it, and you can't see anyone going faster right now, so what a moment to get you first.
Outstanding stuff. Steve Brooks on his final lap pops up a couple of spots and gets to 8th. So that's moved him up a row, though Renee Gracie's still on a lap and may yet swap the positions there when they get to the line. We'll confirm that for you. We know how it ends at the top, though, and it's a first career GT World Challenge Australia Pole Award going the way of Sergio Perez. Now, this result has changed slightly. Renee Gracie's final lap was a good one and got her up to 7th place from 9th at a 1:48.6. So Gracie's actually going to be up a couple of spots from where that is. But the story is by 0.017 of a second, Sergio Perez beats the champ, Brad Schumacher. And it's Mercedes AMG and Audi Sport first and second. Mark Rosser in 3rd and Shane Smolin in 4th.
Doesn't it set us up for a great first race?
It's got, like, proper, real arm wrestle written all over it. The stage is set and all the heavy hitters are at the front of the field for this afternoon's race. Stout performance by Brad Schumacher, and in the end, the V10 mid-mount Audi was only 100th of a second behind the V8 front-engine Mercedes AMG. A great battle between the two of them, and for some of that session, they ran nose to tail. But after a really solid start to qualifying from Brendan Leach, Sergio Perez has delivered and will deliver a Rover Pole Award for car number 44. What a good day for Tigani Motorsport as well. A couple of pole positions.
It feels like they've really built on that momentum from race 2 at Phillip Island on the Sunday, where they really had that race under control and had great speed, and their AM drivers were driving exceptionally, so they've continued with momentum, grabbed a couple poles here and given themselves the best opportunity to get good results again.
So just confirming, we touched on it during the results. Renee Gracie's final lap was a 1:48.6. So saved her best to last and ended up in 7th position at the end there. So bumped Darren Curry back to 8th and bumped Brooks, who just got himself up onto the 4th row of the grid, bumped him back down to 9th place. So he'll start on row number 5 alongside Matt Stupas.
Watching the Ojeda Lichetti car in race 1 is going to be very, very entertaining. Seeing if the Juice can, once he straps himself in there and locks in, if he can, charge back to the front, depending on obviously what happens at the start. But how good's the emotion and the...
It's a great lap, and the AM drivers in particular put a lot on qualifying and measuring themselves over one lap, and it's often the biggest amount of time they need to find relative to their pro is in the one lap pace stuff. So a 1:47.2 for Sergio Perez. That's a handy lap time. Doesn't matter who you are here at the Bend Motorsport Park. So for Guy Valmont Racing, for Tagani and the team, they're going to start from pole position, and Brendan Leach in a really good position. What a job, what a qualifying session it's been for GT World Challenge Australia. Rusty?
Kralsey, some pretty happy faces down here. Jaden, can we start with you and talk about that first session, what it was like, and will it be a good race car today?
Yeah, awesome. Back-to-back poles for GT World Challenge Australia 2026. It's pretty cool. Felt like I worked really hard to get one pole last year, so pretty stoked to grab it today, and it's awesome to have a Tagani front row lockout, and for this guy to grab his pole as well. It's a pretty special day for our team, so looking forward to getting stuck into the races. Obviously we've got a 15-second success penalty from last round for today, but obviously all the fruit will be going into tomorrow's race for us.
You are dialed in as a race driver at the moment for all sorts of reasons, and especially these machines. You're enjoying it, aren't you?
Yeah, I love driving our Mercedes AMG. It's such an awesome car, and to drive it at circuits like Phillip Island and Tailem Bend, it's just a joy. So, awesome.
Lovely stuff too, complimenting your stablemate here. That must mean a lot to you. Congratulations.
It means a lot. It's first pole. We had a tough round last weekend, taken out by other people's shenanigans, so it feels good to bounce back, put it on pole for the first time. Brendan, the little legend, his tips have made a huge difference, so super happy, but this afternoon's when it counts.
He's just over the shot of our camera there. He's got a bright, big smile on his face. Just give me a little sense of the kind of part that he's played here. We talked about this on the grid at Phillip Island. We've seen great growth in you. You're relishing this. You have stepped up too, haven't you?
It's just the minor things. It's just the minor things of braking technique and getting on the throttle out of corners and just working on those minor things that has made a huge difference. So it's been excellent having him on board.
To you and to everyone around that car, congrats.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Part of the job done. Let's bring in now Madalena Pakula, marketing manager for SRO Motorsports Australia. She wears many caps, in fact, as also the GT4 category manager, presenting our trophies. Firstly to Sergio Perez, first Rover Pole Award, very special moment, and also to Jaden Ojeda, the Mercedes AMGs, doing the job here in GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. That is qualifying here at the LIQUI MOLY GT Festival at the Bend. When we come back, Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge right around the corner.